For a lot of people, if they hear the word YouTuber, they immediately just let out a sigh or an eye roll. It's not exactly a career that everyone has a lot of respect for or is viewed all that positively by everybody, and it's not hard to understand why. The only profession with a more negative reputation than YouTubers is telemarketers, and it's pretty close. That's a tight squeeze there. Now, with millions of YouTubers on the platform, of course, there's obviously going to be some bad apples in the bunch, but that doesn't mean it's all rotten. And to prove it, I'd like to present to you a champion. This is a channel that I believe goes to infinity and beyond to deliver not only extremely high quality, entertaining content, but also extremely important work as well. It could make even the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes, and also leave that little bastard terrified, cowering in fear, trembling in a corner if he has ever done anything shady or corrupt in his past. Because I swear, Friendly Jordies would get to the bottom of it and blast that ass on the big screen. Friendly Jordies is the channel we're going to be talking about today. It's run by a man named Jordan Shanks, or as many of you probably know him from the Wiki Alpha community, Jordan Sex Money Shanks. And he actually has an entire team of equally ripped immortal alpha deities that are all united by a single goal: to expose corruption in all of its forms and make a mockery out of evil people. That's not exactly the safest mission to embark on here. This is playing life on ultra nightmare mode, really, because he doesn't just go for low-hanging fruit. He targets some of the most nefarious, shady, corrupt organizations and people throughout all of Australia. And he does more than just Australia, but he is from the land down under, so a lot of his content and investigations have been focused on Australia, but has recently branched out into covering some of the most fucked up situations that even I've never heard of before, such as one of his most recent pieces of content called Paradise Bombed, where Jordies and his team covered a disgusting, tragic situation that unfortunately does involve bombing of completely innocent people. And in the very first frame of this video, this is one of Jordies' team members holding a bomb. Like a goddamn corn on the cob. He's just manhandling a bomb while talking about the situation that's going on. I highly recommend watching this video in particular. It's not only an extremely eye-opening story they cover and an extremely sad one, but it also shows you just how seriously they take all of their investigations and just how thorough they'll be. They fucking went to the place getting bombed. Like, that is beyond, like, so far above and beyond what other journalists do these days, it's laughable. This isn't the first time I've talked about Friendly Jordies. In fact, it's far from it. Many of you have probably already heard me go full gushing granny mode over this guy and his team's content plenty of times in the past. And it's because I have such a deep admiration for the risk he takes doing it. It's, without an exaggeration, a hefty price he could pay with his life. Many of you might remember 9 months ago, his house got firebombed by some of the people that he was investigating, allegedly. His house got firebombed, but not only that, his neighbor's house got firebombed because the goddamn turbo Illuminati Cronenbergian homunculi that were trying to hunt down and execute Friendly Jordies couldn't quite figure out which of the 2 houses was Jordies, so they ended up firebombing his neighbors, and then came back to try and finish the job by firebombing his house the following day. An actual attempt on his life. And you know how Jordies responded to that firebomb? By making an absolute banger video following it up, going into all of the investigations and all of the potential culprits that could have been behind the firebomb attack. And that list is not short by any means. There is nothing but powerful heavy hitters on that list because of the investigations and reporting Friendly Jordies and his team do. And yet, even in the face of attempts on his life, he still keeps delivering extremely important reporting on all of these bad people. If that's not heroic journalism, then I really don't know what is. And another thing that's important to note is that he is constantly villainized, treated like a fucking demon by the media over there for some reason, even though what he's presenting is just immutable facts about awful people that most normal people are rallying behind him for and appreciative of. He and his team do great work, is the point I'm getting at, and it comes at a great cost to both his safety and the safety of his team. Jordan isn't the only member of his team that's been targeted by some powerful organizations. Another member of his team had a very famous incident where they were wrestled down and a lot of other bad things happening around them, arrested, investigated for like terrorism, all over a bunch of baloney. So I don't want to just keep diving into the extended lore of the jordies cinematic universe here, but I highly recommend that you do a deep dive on his content if any of this kind of journalism sounds appealing to you. But I think I'm doing it an injustice by just calling it journalism, because it's a lot more than that. Not only is the investigation and the reporting extremely valuable, but the way he presents it is perfect. He and his team also spend a ton of time crafting really entertaining skits or going hog wild to commit to a bit. So in one of his investigations, he was, this is my favorite, he was doing a deep dive on everything related to a guy named John Barilaro. Eventually this culminated with him finding out that John Barilaro actually rents his very expensive property as an Airbnb. So jordies, in this very public feud, this wasn't the first time he was investigating Barilaro, in a very public feud, a bunch of back and forth spitting on each other, jordies just books it for a little while, which has to be a massive security problem. John Barilaro was not some nobody, nothing burger of a person. He had so much fucking power, and he's just renting out his estate for anyone to go in and snoop.
A second house that's so big, it has a second and third house on it. Like Mars's 2 moons just got attracted into its gravitational pull. And might I just say, those spare houses are real nice, Giovanni. Yeah, I'm talking directly to you now. Because as you've probably gathered, or haven't because you're that dumb, I'm filming at your estate. And I want you to be the first to know that I f***ed in both your guest houses.
Putting the fear of God in Barilaro right there. He'll never be able to have a peaceful night of sleep again, wondering if there's still Jordan Shanks' DNA just leaving a big old wet spot somewhere in there that hasn't been cleaned by his many assistants. It's amazing. Of an actual fucking just checkmate W move from jordies here. Just blowing him a kiss saying, "Big McThankies from McShankies, I had sex in your guest houses, and Lord only knows what else went on within those walls." It's so entertaining, and yet presents an extremely important investigation about some fucked up shit. Like, he and his team do outstanding work. I can't stress it enough. And another journalist I've talked about a lot, who's also a YouTuber, is Coffeezilla. I also very highly and often sing his praises. And you know what? Coffeezilla and Friendly Jordies just did a collaboration. The two of them just investigated an Australian crypto scammer named Brian King Legend, which is the most beautiful Xbox Live gamer tag of a fake name ever. And together, the two of them tag teamed him and gave him a fucking full-blown spit roast. So, the Coffeezilla posted part 1 of that investigation, and Friendly Jordies posted part 2. And in Jordies' investigation, he does something similar to what he did with Barilaro. He goes to try and directly confront the person that they've investigated to, not only meme on them a bit, but also just try and talk to them about this whole thing. Try and understand how someone could be so fucking evil. This crypto scammer made off with tons and tons of money, oodles of doubloons, all at the expense of real, normal people that trusted him with thousands upon thousands of dollars in his crypto projects. Real victims losing real money, and a real evil douchebag making all of the money. And it's a great investigation. It's an absolute fucking slam dunk on this piece of shit, and it's very fucking entertaining. So I just really wanted to talk about Friendly Jordies today because it is an example of a YouTuber I think that is just doing exceptional work that I think transcends just being a YouTuber. His reporting, his investigative journalism, and his style of presenting the information is entirely unique and super valuable. So in case anyone wasn't aware of him, I just wanted to just talk about it a bit. That's really it. See ya.